I thought you were going to sing. So this song all of you know, so I'm sure you can easily follow. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukakara Kanjapada Kanjarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukakara Kanjapada Kanjarunam Binav Nila Niraja Sundaram Kandarpa Ajanita Amita Chabinav Nila Niraja Sundaram Patapita Manav Tatita Shuchi Suchi Naumi Janaga Sutavaram Patapita Manav Tatita Ruchi Suchi Naumi Janaga Sutavaram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Bhajo Dina Bandhu Dinesha Danava Daityavam Shanikandanam Bhajo Dina Bandhu Dinesha Danava Daityavam Shanikandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Koshala Chanda Dasharatha Nandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Koshala Chanda Dasharatha Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sira Mukuta Kundala Tilaka Charu Udaru Anga Vibhushanam Sira Mukuta Kundala Tilaka Charu Udaru Anga Vibhushanam Ajana Bhuchashara Chapadara Sangrama Jitakara Dushanam Ajana Bhuchashara Chapadara Sangrama Dushanam Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Iri Vadati Tulasi Dasa Shankara Shesha Muni Mana Ranjanam Idi Vadati Tulasi Dasa Shankara Shesha Muni Mana Ranjanam Mama Hridaya Kanja Nivasa Kuru Kamadi Kaladala Ganjanam Mama Hridaya Kanja Nivasa Kuru Kamadi Kaladala Ganjanam Sri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Baba Bhayadarunam Sri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Baba Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukha Kara Kanja Pada Kanjarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukha Kara Kanja Pada Kanjarunam Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram Sri Ram बोलिए श्री Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. All right. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. First of all, thanks to the hosts for the occasion of the eve of marriage. Of course, 1 month to go. But anyway, the occasion is to celebrate the new couple who are entering into new stage of life. That's why we chose the topic, goal of life. Because he has found already a girl of life. A girl as wife. So we have chose the topic, goal of life. It's like playing a game. Anybody who knows soccer game, you know, when you're part of your team, your goal post is the opposite. You have to run all the way to the opposite side to put the goal, while you defend your own post. So also life as a husband and wife. You have to defend yourself and post it on the other side. Meaning, simply speaking, live for the other. Don't live for yourself. That's the first and primary objective of living together. If you start, as a bachelor, of course, you have been living for yourself only. Who else? But now forget about it. You have to live for, not for yourself anymore. Over a period of time, some more will come in your life. Chotu motu. So you have to start living for them as well. Now, this subject is a very deep subject as such. So I do want to know how deep you want to go into the subject. I'll give you a brief overall idea about this particular subject matter. I'm sure all of you are adults, so you can understand it's not for this only to the young couple, for everybody else as well, right? It's not only for the people who are just entering the seriousness of life. Those who have already entered, those who have become father-in-laws recently, those who have become grandparents already, those who are entering into the stage of great-grandparents, So they also should know the simple question to the answer, why am I here? So broadly speaking, there are 6 ideas I'm going to give you, broadly, very broadly. And then we'll see how much we go into each one of them. Every living being, every human being has got only one purpose, only one goal. And that is universal. And that is to be happy. Right? So nobody lives in this world to become more miserable. So to be happy, desire of all living beings is the same. The goal of all living beings is the same. So the broad 6 topics I'm going to talk to you about. Inner satisfaction or desire to be happy is the common goal for not only human, for all living beings. So we must understand that first. Second is the idea of happiness. Is it human created or is it something which has to happen by the grace of God? This is the second thing we need to understand. Is it I can decide my happiness or I have to get the grace of God to make it happen? This is second. So we'll talk about that also. The third important thing is that God whom I think as the source of happiness, is he there in a temple or a church or is it in my heart? Am I the very dwelling place of God or not? This is the third aspect. The fourth aspect is what will guide me towards God? The inner compass, which I need to understand, which is what is known as conscience, inner voice. Fifth one is what obstructs me to reach there? What obstructs me to reach the goal of life? Called the mind. We must understand how to handle that mind. The sixth one is what is the characteristics of a person who's really found the goal achieved? We always get inspired by the people who have reached a goal. In this world, we are always inspired by people who have done something in their life. If everybody is living the way everybody is, there is no inspiration at all. Inspiration comes to us only from the person in any field. Somebody who has accomplished, somebody has fulfilled, somebody who has finished their objective of why they are here. So these 6 broad things which we are going to see. The first and foremost thing is constantly we are searching for happiness. Morning till evening, day and night, every moment of our life. And we always, run away from those who are making us unhappy. And we always go towards somebody or anybody or anything that makes me happy. And that's what Shankaracharya also writes in his commentary, Dukkha Nivritti Sukha Prapti, simply put. Getting rid of sorrow, going for happiness is the biodata of all people. Nobody is an exception. But what kind of a happiness that we are seeking for decides what kind of action we need to do. Simple happiness that we get is artha and kama, wealth and pleasure. The whole world, as such, if you look at it, they are constantly engaged in 2 things, looking for money and using that money. After losing that money, they again go for making the money. Then losing the money, making the money. Las Vegas. Previous week only you went and lost. No, this week I will get it. Is it not that what makes that business going on there? Even in the Las Vegas, if you go to the airport itself, it starts. As soon as you land, the thing welcomes you. All of them there. Casinos. In Hindi or in English, Electric is in cash no. In Tamil, the kasu means money. Kasu no. Casino means no kasu, no money. They make you no money. And so somebody said, I went to Las Vegas in my $50,000 vehicle and came back in $1 million vehicle. Not 1 million. $80,000 vehicle. No? I went in my car and came back by bus. I lost my $50,000 and came back in that. So it is said by great masters, of all gains, health is the greatest gain. Of all wealth, greatest is the contentment. Of all relationship, trust is the greatest. Of all happiness, freedom of the soul is the greatest. So real happiness is not how much pleasure you have. Real happiness is where how much health you have to have the pleasure. The pleasure of health is greater than pleasure of anything else. That's how doctors make money, right? So you want to definitely enjoy more, but enjoying more, if you lose health, then there will be the pain of life. So the greatest wealth is health. And health makes you enjoy the life better. Second is that which is called inner contentment is the most joyful state of mind. So when I was writing about Gurudev's words of wisdom in Sanskrit, Tushtiratmani nasti yat hridi Tushtiratmani nasti yat hridi. What is the next one which I wrote there? It's not coming to my mind. If a person does not have self-contentment in his mind, even if he has money, he is a poor person. If the inner contentment is not there, that person, even if he has whatever be the amount of wealth he has, is still poor only. So, nirdhanakkalu danavanapi, or nirdhanakkalu, even if he has money. Okay, that's how we have completed that statement. So, what is the most important thing is in life is, as you are a young person, never do anything that will destroy your health. Because when you are young, you do not realize that. What we have, we will come to know their importance only when we don't have, including people. When they are there, you take it for granted. When you are healthy, you take it for granted. But when it is not there, like all people who are beyond 50, they suffer lack of hunger. They want to eat, but there's no hunger. Don't you think so? I'm not getting hungry at all, but I want to eat. Eating never stops, but no hunger. So you look for becoming hungry, actually. So when we have health, we never realize how important it is. Only when you lose it, we realize, getting up is a pain, sitting down is a pain, walking is a pain, turning is a pain. Then only we realize how I was when I was 20. I didn't even know that I had a body at that time. Because I went and body came along with me. Not that I'm dragging the weight of body with me. Come on, let us go. So only when we lose it, we realize its importance. So the greatest wealth that one should protect even when one is young is health. And then the contentment, self-contentment. And also, as I said here, the most beautiful thing about people around you is you trust them and they trust you. In fact, the joy is to have people around you who really trust you. Even in a work environment, is it not? Somebody says, hey, I know that you can do it. When your boss or your senior gives you that compliment, then you feel so good about it. Even the money, it does not satisfy you that much. Oh, I am given a responsibility to do that because somebody trusts me. And of course, the highest joy is where an individual finds freedom of the soul. So this is said by Buddha beautifully. And every individual being is God's expression. Every being. And that when we recognize, then we know we have achieved the first goal of life. The first goal of life is, I am not looking for happiness outside somewhere. The God is coming closer to me. And that is when an individual realizes that the God's dwelling place is not there in a temple, or in a church, or in a mosque, or in a Buddha vihar. In Basava, a great saint in the Karnataka region in India, he said this: the rich people build temples. It's the rich people who build the temples. Poor me, what can I do? Oh Lord, I have kept your shrine in my heart so that I can carry you everywhere I want. I cannot build temples, but I can make my heart your shrine. And he also goes on to say, the external structure will die, but me who is carrying will not. So that is to say, if you can create Bhagavan's temple in our heart, Lord's temple in our heart, the abode of happiness in our heart, then temple is already there. कहाँ ढूंढ रहे हो बंदो? मैं आपके पास ही हूँ. Where are you searching for me, oh fool? I am already in your heart. So, in general, in all religions, the basic premise is that God is a creator, we are creatures. We are all creatures, jantus. So what God is expecting us to do is help each other. It's my creation, I created you all. The creation means help each other for living in this world together. Our Gurudev used to give a beautiful story about this. He tells the Balviyar kids also. Once there was a usual competition between the negative forces and the positive forces in the heavens. That is Devatas, the positive, and the Rakshasas, and they are called Rakshasas, negative ones. And then they always thought that one is better than the other. So, to find out who is better, God said, I will create a small competition, small challenge. What is the challenge? He created a huge vessel in which he put the elixir. Elixir meaning that is giving the longevity of life. Huge elixir, a huge vessel, he filled it with that. And he first called all the negative forces, Danavas, or what you call as Rakshasas, Daityas, called them and said, okay, here is what it is. All of you can have it. Anybody wants to have it, have it. And he gave a huge ladle. From here to that huge ladle. It almost touches that bottle, right? Huge ladle. Spoon. And you should hold only at the end and serve yourself. You should not bend. So they picked it up, but then how will they eat? They can't do it. How will you eat? It's a long ladle, at the end is the elixir, and you can't bend the hand. So they did not know what to do. They were looking around, what do we do now? So he called all the devatas. Now you do it. They took the same thing and served each other. I serve you, you serve me. So he said, elixir of life is when you serve others. I have not created this world to compete with each other, to complement each other. Men and women are created not to compete with each other, my dear. They are to complement each other. Please understand that. Never compete with your wife. If you compete with your wife, you will never be complete with your life. If you compete, you will never be complete. Please understand, therefore, if she may be working, you may be working. Both of you are not working to prove who is better. No. It is to complement, to support, to enjoy that together. Yes, you have a role to play, I have a role to play. You have certain things to fulfill in my life, I have certain things to fulfill in your life. And when we realize that particular role that we play, see, we have two hands. Do you think one is competing with each other? Left is better than right or anything like that. We need both. Then only we can clap. Right? So when we realize that, then there is a better share that you have in your life. Your life is a part which she plays, and you are a part you play for her life as a share. So both of you share with each other. That is when the life will become complete. If you compete, then there will be only pain. So understand, as many of the great masters have said, life is God's will. He gave it, and He has every right to take it, anytime. Since He gave it, you have no right to take it out. That's why in all religion, what do they say? First thing you don't ever do is neither kill yourself nor you kill anybody. You have no right to do that. He who gave alone has the right to take it. And He can take it anytime. Huh? So that is important here. And it is also said in many religions, Judaism and Christianity very well, that the very nature of God is full of joy, and our role in this world to reflect that joy. Return the joy to Him. Return that beauty to Him. He created the beautiful world around us. So when you see a beautiful flower that is blossomed out, turns out in your garden in the morning, what do you think of it? Anybody can claim to have created that? None other than the beautiful hands of the beautiful Lord. And so all that you need to do, if at all, is to take that flower, offer to Him. Bhagavan, you created this beauty, I am giving back to that beauty to you. You have no right to own it. So the beauty is created by Him. The beauty has to be given back to Him. That's why anything that we can offer in our life should be beautified before you give it to the Lord. Expressions, your thought, your speech, your action, your intention, your performance, your achievements, everything that has to be, we can only do that. Oh Lord, oh God, you have given to me, how much ever I can make it beautiful with my skill and knowledge and love, may I do it and offer back to you. That's why you see great churches in the Rome culture or any of these places you go, how much of beautiful things that they have created in the past. They are all offered to God only. Some of the architectures are so exquisite, even standing the time so many hundreds of years later also, because it is done with so much of love and devotion to God. If you go to India, many of these beautiful temples are unbelievably, perfect. Because it is not done for any person. Because the moment you do it for a person, you immediately have certain notions about it. So the moment you start disliking that person, you don't feel like doing anything. But when it is offered to God, it's always the best. As our Gurudev would say, He gave us the best, we should give back the best to Him. That's our responsibility. So service also should be done with that attitude. So first thing you understand, first part of the goal is happiness is our birthright. And the best happiness that you can get is through health, through contentment, through trust, and through freedom. That's one thing. Second important thing is serve. The service that we give to the world is to serve the Lord. And giving to each other or serving each other is the best way to make this world most beautiful. And what is most beautiful must be offered to the Lord. Nobody else. Nobody else deserves it. Third important thing is there are many religions that believe that human beings are all the image of God. See, this idea of image of God is so strongly embedded in the human mind. That is the reason why, whether it is Hinduism or Christianity or any of these popular religion you take, they always portray God as human. Isn't it? Christ is human. I mean, I'm sure Allah is also human only, because they were not particular image. And in Hinduism, definitely, all images you find as human. But who told you God is human? Anybody? Can anybody prove that God is human? And more importantly, who told that God is a man? So it is said, no, it's okay, let's sit down. It's said that once a priest, Christian priest, went to, he died and went to heavens. And as soon as he went, St. Peter welcomed him. Said, come on, very good. So St. Peter said, oh, so I have been a priest for a long time. God must be very happy with my work that I have done so far. So he was very quiet. Is God not happy with what I did? To be precise, to be clear to you, oh, dear priest, you have never made a woman a priest in your life. Is God is unhappy about it? Yes, she is. Who told you that it is man? You told you it is human. We already see, that's why we have thought that we have been thinking that it's human. Why should it be? That's why in Vedanta there is not a male or female. It. Finished. It's not necessarily male, it's necessarily female, necessarily a man or a human. No, it's not necessary. So usually, because we would like to see God as reflection of our own image, or God, image of God is me. So that's why any place you go, it's always form is nothing but definitely in the ancient religions like Hinduism, they have accepted that every form, every living being is God's form. Especially when you have this Navaratri festival coming up the next few weeks, and if you go to any traditional house, when they keep the display of various, you'll find a lot of animals also there. They are all forms of gods are there. Some elephant and monkeys and goats and cows and trees and plants and vegetation and flowers and everything. It's all one only there. Included. Everything is included there. So obviously when it comes to more abstract nature of that is referred in Hinduism as Atman. 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 Atman, which is the very self in all of us, is none other than the image of God. See, the image of God, if you take it in the purest sense, it is absolutely sinless, pure, immaculate, clean, spotless, spatika. So that's why in the Hinduism, when we worship Shiva, it says Spatika. Spatika means one who does not have any shape or color. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinitam Panchavakrakam Gangataram Dashabhutam Sarva Bharana Bhushitam Neelagrivam Shashankankam. And it says Spatik. Spatik means absolutely clear. No impurity ever. But the beauty is, a absolutely pure thing can reflect all impurities. If you take a spatika and put it in a red cloth, it will become red. No? Why? You know why it becomes red? Because it doesn't have its own color. It does not have its own color. You put it on a blue cloth, it becomes blue. It will look like blue. Like water, when you take and put it in a jar which is red color, what color of water you will see from outside? It will be red water, but it's not red water. When you pour it, it will become, it's actually colorless. So also, within us is presence of the Lord, absolutely devoid of all the characteristics that we have. But when we look through all this, we look, this is man, this is human, this is animal, this is dog, this is donkey. But what is the nature of God within us? None of the characteristics of the body, none of the characteristics of the mind or the intellect belong to that. So the human existence is to discover the spotless, immaculate, pure, clean presence. Once that is reached, then it is called Atma Tripti, and satisfaction of the highest. So that is also the goal of human existence, to discover the spotlessness, the purity, the innocence, the completeness, the colorless, characterless, and changeless presence in general. Therefore, all religions believe that goodness is the closest point of godliness. And basically, every child that is born innocent. Is it not true? Every child that is born with that innocence, the born with that goodness, the born with that simple happiness. But I don't know where we go wrong in between. That's why when we look at the child, look at a young boy or a girl, or a young one, we are just happy with just looking at them. Why? They represent the innate, natural, spontaneous, effortless goodness. So I remember when the children come to our sheep, 2-year-old, just when I look at them, so, when I look, they're so simple, they're so innocently joyful, and look at you with plain eyes, with no judgment. Completely plain. There's no judgment, there's no seeking, there's no wanting, there's no demand. They look at you. And I look at them and say, 15 years later, this one he won't even look at me. They won't even look at me. So when I go to classes, for visiting the Balvir classes, when I go to that kindergarten or pre-K, Hari Om Swami Ji, all of them. I go to the 12th grade. Hari Om. The question is, why are you here? I don't know what happens in those 12 years or 15 years. What's wrong? What have we created? A hell out of them. Where is gone? Where is that innocence gone? Where is that goodness, the simple, innocent, spontaneous, effortless joy? Where is it disappeared? What did we do wrong? That's why as we get older and older, we like these dogs and other things because they're still innocent. They don't have the judgment, They're still innocent only. They're just that they are. We like it. Because they don't judge us, right? They just are what they are. They don't look at what dress you're wearing, what cell phone you're carrying, right? They don't know what scent you're wearing. They don't care about that. They just are innocent. They're just available to you. So the innate goodness, which is all of us potentially have, even with now, it is all buried deep under that. Deep under our own heart, that simple innocence, simple goodness, effortless joy, this hidden, buried. So it is said, great men are those who do not lose their child's heart. Confucius. Great men are those who do not lose their child's heart. In other words, unless you become like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of God, Christ. Christ has very clearly said, unless you become the child, you will not enter the kingdom of God. Adveshta sarvabhutana, as Krishna would say. Just become simple. The most difficult thing in our life is to be simple. We complicate ourselves so much and build complexes outside in the buildings also. Multiplex, not even complex, multiplex. So complex we become. How many of us just look at another person's face and just smile? If you smile, they wonder, why? What's wrong? It's just simple. If a child, let us say that you are in an airport. I have said this very often. If you are in an airport and a child comes and looks at you and smiles, do you wonder, oh, what's wrong with you? You never wonder, right? Because the child's smile is so simple. You don't think that it is having something in mind. But you walk around and look at a person and smile. That's what's wrong. You'll just find out whether something wrong with my face. How complex we have become. Let us go back to that simplicity. That itself is a sadhana. That itself is a goal of life. Just go back to that simplicity. Then don't become complex. Don't have that preconceived notions and judgments. I'm telling you, the most hardest thing is to go back to that point. As Christ would say, if you go there, kingdom of heaven. Oh, men understand the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of the Lord is in your own heart. Nowhere else. It is there. Go back there. As we remove the unnecessary impurities in our heart, as we go on cleaning up, we become more and more innocent. Innocent does not mean you are taken for granted. Don't think like that. Oh, he's a very innocent person. Meaning what? Take him for granted. That's not the way. That's not what we are talking about. So, the heart is simple. It looks for nothing from others. That is the innocent heart. It is judgmentless perception of the world. It is interesting, in the path of Vedanta, what we say, you must have viveka. Discrimination. Right from wrong, good from bad, real from unreal, permanent from impermanent. All these things are only to go back to that innocence only. Go back to the simple thing of accepting things as they are, without the complexity of the mind. So understand that as the very interesting goal of life, which all of us should engage and try to achieve. So, it is said that virtue is when your soul is at rest. Sin is when you are restless. This is from Islam. From Islamic proverb says, when you have the virtue, soul is at rest. When you have a sin in your mind, it is restless. It is this restless soul that causes sin more and more and more. When your soul is at rest, it is full of virtues. Love, kindness, compassion, brotherhood, and all these are all where the soul is at rest, quiet, peaceful. But when the moment we have anger, passion, jealousy, competitiveness, intolerance, the whole system agitates within and without, and we cannot but act based upon that. The fifth point here is, according to Buddha, who was definitely a great thinker of his times, he said very clearly, so long as there is something called interpretation of the mind, you are far away from your own perfection. The mind is creating lot of colors in your experience. It keeps on coloring. It keeps on coloring. It keeps on giving different shades of itself. That is the reason why if you look at the mandalas that they create in the Buddhist tradition, they create huge complex mandalas. You know what they do at the end? Destroy it. They will take so many hours and hours of perfection to make it. And the last ceremony is what? Whole thing is removed. Only to show to us the complexity and the intrinsic activities of the mind. Finally, what should be achieved is no mind. Don't say never mind. No mind. No mind. In fact, every one of us, at the end of the day, we reach there. Some of you are already there. At the end of the day, what are we doing? See, if anybody says, let us say you are about to go to sleep and at around 10 o'clock, can we discuss about the marriage plan? Never mind, tomorrow we'll do it. Why? I don't want to use my mind right now. Never mind, tomorrow. Why? Because we want to engage in a state of mind where there's no mind. Mind is no mind in sleep. And we all want that. And that's where the most great happiness of the everyday life is. Isn't that true? Some of them get even when I'm talking also. Some of your talk was so good. What did I say? I don't know. I slept. So, according to Buddhism, the state of no mind is state of Buddhahood. The state of Buddha is what? No mind. And that no mind is the innocence. That's what we are talking about, as we did before. The mind that recreates that complexity, creates that shades, creates that colors. I want, I don't want, I like, I don't like. All that janjat that goes on. Just collapse it. It's easier said than done. Because the university education, college education, all those things are causing so much of, inner building so much inside. And to collapse it and make it simple and then reduce them to ashes. What did Bhagavan Shiva's nature? It burned everything to ashes, finished. It's simply sitting there. Ever at rest. Sitting there without any complexity of the mind. So, no mind. That is the nature of Buddha. And in Gita also it is said, in many other places in Upanishad also it is, mind is your enemy, mind is your friend. Enemy when it doesn't listen to you, when it creates so much of inbuilt its own structure of complexities, when it is with no such artificial living, then it is. That's also a building there. Asking you to pay attention. The last but not the least is, how do we even get convinced that happiness is possible in this world? Is it easy for us? Is it a hypothesis? Is it just an idea? Is it an imagination? No. That is when we come across people of perfection, people of that highest peace, then and then alone we are convinced that it is possible. How many ever books you read, how many ever lectures you listen to, how many ever camps and programs you attend, until you really come across a person of peace, you will not be sure that it is possible. That is why it is said everywhere, the association with the Mahatmas is the highest blessing. The blessing of life, grace of God is direct to us only when we come across a person of peace in our life. Look around. Can you name one person who can represent this peaceful soul? If you have seen anybody like that, please don't leave that person. Because such a person alone can truly take you to that goal. Not by following that person, by just listening to that person's advice. It's very rare indeed of that such men of peace. Very rare, very, very rare. In fact, it is said that when a person of such peace lives in this world, not only those who know him, but the entire area itself will get that blessing. That's why Mahatmas don't live amidst us. They live maybe in the solitude somewhere. But their very presence itself is sufficient for the people in the world to attain that peace. This is not a hypothesis or a fantastic idea. For example, if that phone is working, somebody is calling her, right? Somebody is calling you? From where? From where? San Francisco?
San Francisco.
Tell me. Okay, somebody is calling from San Francisco. How are you getting it here? Wireless. If the sound created by somebody can come wirelessly to your device, your mind is more powerful than that. It can receive signals from anywhere and everywhere, even if it is thousands of miles away, provided you tune yourself to that. It's like the phone get tuned to that. That's why you have that SIM card inside. It gets tuned to the signals. Therefore, it is able to receive. Similarly, if we tune to that higher level of awareness, we'll get tuned to that peace which is already being spread out by the Mahatmas there, available to us. Nobody is deprived. We are not tuned. We have not made it subtle. When we start tuning, so one Mahatma was saying, tune yourself to that higher awareness, you will receive it. Right? So early morning when everybody is asleep, when everything is quiet, at that time the tuning is easier because it is like, when everybody is talking, you will not be able to hear that easily. Then you go, hello, 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 and you go out, right? Because there are other noises are there. Some people don't care. When everybody's, hello, how are you? Why not you go out and speak? Their loud noises more than others. So in early morning, or when the world has not woken up, at that is the time you are capable of tuning yourself to the higher easily. So when the Mahatma was telling like this, one person said, I don't think I should do this. But why? He said, my mind is so noisy all the time. If I get up, Mahatmas will get disturbed. So for the Loka Kalyanartham, let me not wake up. When I went to some of the yatras, I remember when we went to Sri Lanka, it was Sri Lankan yatra or some other place. It is Shakjyotirlinga yatra when we went. I don't remember, 2:30 in the morning we started for one particular darshan. I don't know how many, 2:30, 3 o'clock we left. We took I think it is, Kashi Vishwanath is also, right? That is one. We went to, no, not Sri Lanka. We went to Mahakaleshwar. Mahakaleshwar, I'm telling you, the most beautiful
Very
experience.
beautiful darshan.
The Bhasma Arati.
4 o'clock. You know, mind is tuned, naturally tuned. You don't need to do anything to it. Why it is so? It's not that you have become special there. You are made yourself available there. The mind has started tuned to that. So when our mind has reached such that amount of tuning, even if you are in the midst of the most disturbing situation, your mind will be peaceful. So that is why the person of perfection, the person of such peace and joy and love and compassion, when he or she lives amidst us, that very presence itself is sufficient for us to assure ourselves, yes, it is possible. That association with the Mahatmas is the most blissful thing, most graceful one. So that's why we chant ourselves very often in the in our prayers, from Asat take me to Sat. Asato ma Satgamaya. Then from darkness you take me to light. Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya. From death you take us to immortality. Mrityorma Amritangamaya. So Amritatvam, Satyatvam and Jyotirmayatvam is the goal. The goal of life is from false to truth, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. If we keep that in mind very clearly as a direction to our life, then in spite of the fact you have to play the role of a husband, you have to play the role of a wife, later on you have to play the role of a parent or grandparents. In that, do not get caught up too much. Keep the goal clear. I am here to give peace to the world. I am here to bring happiness in my life and to give that to everybody. I am here to share what I can with the world. Serve the world as much as I can, because it's beautiful creation of the Lord. Share the joy of the Lord's creation with others. Then our direction is clear. Purpose is clear. Goal of life will also come. Goal of life also will come. So, peace is the goal, and that peace is within you. And to discover that, and then peace I have put as an acronym, right? P, purity, enthusiasm, awareness, compassion, and enlightenment. PEACE. Starts with purity of heart. And when the purity of heart is there, like a child, you are very enthusiastic to do everything. And that enthusiasm must be coupled by awareness of God's presence. And that presence will make you compassionate in this world. And then compassion ultimately leads you to enlightenment. That peace should be the final goal of your life. All other things are, on the way. You may achieve, you may not achieve. Don't worry about it too much. God has not created you to become a worldly achiever. Whatever you can, you should do it. But ultimately, God wants you to be happy. Don't your parents say, I just want you to be happy? Right? You may have all the money you want, all that you want, but you are not happy. What's the point? As Gurudev would say, if money does not give you happiness, give it back. Why are you holding on to it? And if you are not happy, why inflict yourself on others? You'll be making others miserable only. If you are not happy with yourself, others will become miserable. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.